It's a very interesting story with the wine of Yquem. And Lursalus, during the war with Napoleon, stayed a long time in the war. He arrived very late for the picking here.
Okay.
And the botrytis arrive in a grapes, and the people wait. When he arrives, all the grapes are contaminated by the botrytis,
Right.
but he press. He makes a fantastic juice. I think he is with a lot of quality, with a lot of sugar, with a lot of flavor. It's a story of Yquem, but for me, when I drink a lot of wine, I explain this story.
And I guess Napoleon probably drank that
Yes,
wine.
exactly.
Then do you think that the wine that they produced back then, in the days of Napoleon, is the same wine that you produce today?
Yes, yes. But,
Why so?
but you have the proportion of the grape variety change, because before you have between 50 and 50% of Semillon and Sauvignon.
Okay.
But I suppose you have just a little part of Muscadel. Now you have a large proportion of Semillon, 80% and 20% Sauvignon, and no Muscadel.
So why would that change? Why is there now no Muscadel, yet back then there probably was?
I think it's a choice of the team with the age, and this percentage is good for the balance of the wine.
Okay, then tell me about the terroir, because it obviously has put you at the top of the world.
Yes.
In terms of Sauternes. The 1855 classification had you at the top of
You
the
know
world.
all my story. Très bien.
And so what is it about this terroir?
The terroir is amazing terroir, and the topography of Chateau d'Yquem, you have 3 hills, is very sensual terroir and give a lot of complexity.
Okay, so what am I looking at here then?
This terroir, this part, you have the gravel on the top, and under you have a lot of clay.
Okay.
And the clay is interesting because the clay feeds the water to the roots. It's a natural drainage.
Okay. Now you are in the appellation of Sauternes,
Yes.
also in the commune called Sauternes. And so what is it that has put this appellation on the map and Chateau d'Yquem on the map?
I think Chateau d'Yquem is just in the middle of the appellation, on the top of the hill. It's a very right position. In the north, you have the large valley of the Garonne Valley.
Okay.
In south, you have the large forest.
Yeah.
And just in the middle is Sauternes. And after, in the west, you have the river Ciron.
Okay.
This river Ciron across the river Garonne. And when you come in the morning, very early in the morning, you have the foggy situation on the vineyard with a lot of humidity.
Right.
And the east wind dries the grapes, and the alternance between humidity in morning and the dry situation in afternoon are so very interesting for the development of the Botrytis cinerea. But the picking in Chateau d'Yquem, or in picking in general in Sauternes, is amazing picking. The picking is not the easy picking, but I think you have my team.
Yeah.
You have established a very good symbiosis between the vineyard.
Very symbiotic.
It's very important to understand where is a good grapes to pick, etc., etc. If you compare with the red wine, is a red wine you picked each plot, and you put each plot in a vats. It's more easy to select the grapes. Here is so very complicated.
Right.
But also, you make Yquem only with the climatology of Yquem. If you have not the concentration, you don't pick. Like 72, 64, you have no vintage of Chateau d'Yquem.
Right. So there was nothing.
Nothing.
So you're that picky that you said we're not doing a vintage this year.
Exactly.
Okay.
For example, in 99 vintage, and you have the concentration of the grapes is between 19 and 18, and it's not a good concentration to pick. The people wait, and the concentration grow up, and it picked at the right moment. It makes a great vintage.
Then it must be a very fine line between passion and risk.
Yes.
How would you describe this wine to somebody?
Very clear. And after you swell the wine and the glass, and you have just a touch of apricot and a touch of orange skin, and just a little honey.
What's that?
Honey. Honey is miel.
Honey.
Honey.
Honey. Okay,
Sorry
honey.
for my accent.
Honey.
And the nose is very complex. And in the palate, the attack is very fresh. And the wine is inside the palate is like a sphere. And you have the very good balance with you have no many sugar inside. It's a very powerful and very long taste, but the wine is so very elegant.
Yeah.
And the touch of the tannin is like a cashmere for me.
How would you describe to people why they should spend a little bit more money for what's in this glass?
Yquem is a luxury brand for the people in general, but a lot of people are very afraid to taste Yquem because it's expensive wine. But for me, I suppose you have the very good solution for Yquem is to make Yquem by the glass.
Right.
You put Yquem by the glass,
Yeah.
and the people have just a glass of Yquem
Yeah.
with the association with the good food. I suppose it is because it's difficult to drink Yquem, one bottle of Yquem with two people.
Right. Yeah, it
So
would
have
be.
the many
It would
wine,
be.
but just a glass of Yquem,
Yeah.
Yquem is
So
a
is that
solution.
something that you're going to start doing?
Yes.
Yeah. Well, I will keep an eye out for it.
Merci. Thank you very much.
Yes.